Trajan Wealth can offer some of the highest guarantees in the business. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know no one wants to work forever. We all need to retire someday, and I know you've worked hard for your money, so now is the time to guarantee it. Take advantage of up to a 30% upfront bonus for your retirement income, or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't woulda, shoulda, coulda. Get up to a 30% bonus just for opening an account, or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Retire the right way, the Trajan way, with Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states says Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
It's time to fall in love and find great savings as we prepare for the holidays at IFA Country Stores. Our annual early bird sale is 3 unique sales over the next 4 weeks. Prep for winter as you protect and layer up with our vast selection of outerwear and supplies. Care for the things you love with specials throughout the store on farm and home needs. And Christmas comes early with gifts for the whole family this November. Visit us in store for early bird savings or shop for the things you love at ifa.coop.
Step into the warmth of the holidays at Western Nut. We're here to make gift-giving special and stress-free. Grandpa's favorite peanut brittle, a gift basket with a variety of nuts and treats for your neighbor who brings in your garbage cans. How about your coworkers? Yep, we've got you covered. With our nut gift boxes, pre-wrapped in holiday paper, homemade caramels, baking nuts, popcorn brittle, dried fruit trays, and cashews galore. Local honey and jams, and our Nut of the Month subscription give a variety of nut gift boxes straight to their door. Our shop is a winter wonderland, and this year, join us to kick off our huge holiday preview sale and save on everything in store. 4th South and 3rd West, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. Stuck at the North Pole? Visit westernut.com or call our team, who will take your order and ship your gift with care. Western Nut has been a part of Utah family traditions for nearly 60 years. More than nuts. At Western Nut Company, we sell memories.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Utah County drivers still have a struggle if you're trying to use Pioneer Crossing. This is heading westbound away from Crossroads Boulevard up toward the Mountain View corridor. It's due to construction. Only one left lane is open, and it's taking a really long time for people, A, to get through there, and for traffic to subside from the earlier big rush hour delays. Otherwise, you've got good speeds on I-15, the east and west side belt routes, and I-80 through Parley's Canyon. Attention commercial property managers and business owners. Snow doesn't have a campaign manager, but you do. Choose Go Pave Utah to clear your lot and win the winter. GoPaveUtah.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today with a high reaching 57 degrees. We're expecting rain over the weekend and highs only in the 40s for most of the week. And right now, 39 degrees with partly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
You know, I know this is not the biggest story of the day, Dave, but I just cannot resist reminding you that we fall back this weekend. And I could have used that extra hour of sleep last night. But don't forget to switch your clocks back, 2 a.m. Sunday morning. And also, this one's for my kids who work in, with the fire department. Make sure you change out those smoke detector batteries as well, and your carbon monoxide detector batteries if they're on battery power.
I despise this.
Really?
I despise it on every level. It messes with my clock.
Really?
My sleep clock is all messed up because if you focus on getting to sleep in an extra hour, but when you're going to sleep, Now that's messed up.
No,
if you go to sleep every day at 10 o'clock, now your body thinks it's 11 or maybe it's 9.
A way to start the
It's a
Friday,
disaster.
our Friday show. I'm so excited for that extra hour of sleep. I'm like, get it where you can, you know?
If we truly had leadership in positions of power, they would end this lunacy. Daylight saving, regular, standard time.
Didn't know
it's
I
a
was
disaster.
opening the can of worms. Sorry, folks.
It's lunacy. 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Let's just keep going. 4 days away from Election Day, and as we all can feel, it's exhausting. It has been a very long, exhaustive election cycle. Even so, 32% of Americans say the political climate has strained relationships with their family members. It's been that exhausting. At 10:35, a political contributor on the national level from News Nation joining the show with her advice on how we should be managing election stress and any anxiety we might be feeling.
The longest baseball game in history was 33 innings. That's how this political season feels for me. Like, the game has got to end at some point. This isn't soccer. We're not going to let it end in a tie. So it's got to end at some point. But I'm worn out. As much as I love baseball, I can't handle 33 innings. And that's what this election has been.
Countdown. 2.
Here's the story that Dave's been wanting to talk about all morning long.
Love this story.
Kids empty a candy bucket on someone's porch and then get called out. Hey, where did you see this post, Dave?
I had a confidential informant send me the post on the neighborhood social media page. So they show this picture of kids with their hands, their little paws reaching into the candy bucket, and this is what the post says. If these are your kids, can you please have them bring back the multiple handfuls of candy so others can get some? They emptied the rest of the bucket into their bags. And then at 8:14 p.m., Mom responds,
"Oh,
you bet. I'll bring them myself."
So one of the
parents,
kids' moms responded to the post.
Absolutely. Responded to the post. Perp walked the kid all the way back to the house to return the candy. And then a dad's like, me too. He'll be there in a minute. Okay, that's the story. I love this story. Complete and total overreaction, right? Complete overreaction. Like, we're policing kids that steal a little extra candy. We got to have this little disagreement, Deb, because you love what went down.
Launch. Countdown. 1.
The banking practice that I think I've just felt for a long time, this has got to go bye-bye, right? Because the hoops that customers need to jump through to simply switch their bank accounts over to a new bank has, at least I've experienced this over the years. I'm like, it's too complicated. Forget it. I've got to keep a little money here in case an automatic payment comes through, and then I got to switch everything over to this other bank. Well, now there's a new rule on the federal level that could make moving banks as easy as it is to now transfer your phone number to a new cell phone carrier.
Yes. Tell me more. I saw this story in the Washington Post. I love this little joke that they put in there. I guess this is kind of an inside joke in the banking industry. More people get divorced than switch bank accounts. That is so true. We have had the same bank since we got married for 25 years. I mean, we're not divorced, but 25 years with the exact same bank. That's a little crazy, right? And part of the reason we've stuck with it so long is because it is an absolute chore to switch out.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
Yeah, Dave, I think what the inside joke is customers are more likely to get divorced than change their bank accounts after they get married, it may be time to look at the way we do things and change things up. And I'm looking at this statistic. This is out of the UK, and it's research from about 10 years ago, when the average marriage lasts 11 years and 6 months, whereas we stay with the bank for an average of 17 years. And that's because it's tricky and complicated, and I get a headache even thinking about switching from the bank that I have been banking at for 30 years to a new bank.
You make it sound like it's more tricky and complicated than a divorce, and it may be. It is such a nightmare. If you switch banks, and you have to get new cards, and you have to change all of your auto pay and all of your subscriptions, it is unbearable. And I will stick with a bad bank and a carrier before I switch.
So what's this new rule all about that Dave and I are talking about? It's from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's a federal agency. And what they have suggested is that switching banks would be free, and it would be free of, not only financially free to do that, but it would be, you would make it so you could transfer everything over without having to go through the hoops, jump through all of those hoops of making sure your automatic payments were reset with your new bank account information. Your credit cards were reset in all of these, apps that you're using. So it would simplify it, much like what they did years ago when they changed it so we could easily transfer our cell phone numbers from one carrier to the other without having to get a new cell phone number, and then notify everybody in our contacts list. Oh, and also all the apps that we use. Hey, we got a new cell phone number. So think of it like that. It's just a simplification for us to be able to switch banks without having to do all of the, hours and hours of work. And then also, in some cases, I know friends have done this, Dave, and they keep some money in their old bank account, their old checking account, and leave it open for a while, just in case a stray automatic payment comes out of that account. And so they don't get dinged for late fees.
It's a great thing. I look at this. I can't see the downside to this. It would increase competition. It would force banks to focus more on the customer experience. I feel like I've been forgotten over the years. I've been dinged with late fees and unnecessary purchases. I've been very frustrated and wanted to move many times, but I don't, because it's such an inconvenience to move. I will just take the punches on the jaw and just be happy with it. So this idea, I think, will increase competition. I think it will improve customer service. I love everything about it. This is a win for the Biden administration.
You like it that much?
I love it.
You're willing to give the president a win.
Absolutely. It's good ideas are good ideas. I don't care who they come from. Mm-hmm. This is a great idea. And when you described it like a cell phone plan, being able to keep your phone number, that changed everything. And for the better. I love it. I think this cannot move forward fast enough.
801-575-TALK. Let's take your live calls straight ahead. Do you agree with Dave? We should make switching banks as easy as it is to switch cell phone carriers and keep our cell phone number. Or maybe not. Maybe there's a banker out there, Dave, who can disagree with you live. We'll take your live calls in 3 minutes.
Finally, Friday. You got to set 'em up. You got to set 'em up. You got to set them up. With Dave and Dujanovic. Set them up. And never let them go. Now never let them go. Never let them go. Cougars have a week off.
He's gonna go! Touchdown!
Prepping for the rivalry game.
Touchdown, BYU!
They're There's plenty to be excited about, including your calls before BYU Utah on Cougar Nation. Join us 6 to 7 Monday on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Salt Lake City fat loss has helped me lose 57 pounds in just 60 days. Now, I was so happy with the results. I was excited to get on to the scale every morning. How often can you say that when you're trying to lose weight, that you're excited to get on the scale? But sure enough, the results were so good and happened so often that it kept me motivated. And with Salt Lake City fat loss, we were able to do it without injections and do it without any surgery or insane workout routines. They just taught me a better relationship with food. Now, after losing that weight, it doesn't mean I cut out all the things that I love in my life forever and ever, but they helped teach me some of the bad habits that I was making, how to break some of those habits, and then slowly introduce those little treats back into the diet. So if you're interested with Salt Lake City fat loss, go ahead and reach out to them. Their website is easy, slcfatloss.com. You can schedule a free consultation. Just go to slcfatloss.com.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at www.robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodity interests can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at www.robinhood.com/election.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule it. 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
You know, Election Day is just days away. And of course, KSL News Radio will have all the coverage that you need leading up to Election Day on Monday. And then, of course, Tuesday, which is Election Day. And as results continue to come in through Wednesday and Thursday. So here's how to get the latest information. All you have to do is sign up for the free KSL News Radio app, and you'll get election results right to your phone as they're happening. All you have to do is text the word news to 57500. Again, news to 57500.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Utah-based company USANA asking for help providing food for food-insecure kids during the holiday break. Second, Spanish Fork looking to receive $1 million from FEMA to help the city recover from last year's flooding damage. And third, the Utah Royals play their final game of the season tonight. RSL fights to stay alive in playoffs tomorrow. And the Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club continue their seasons on the road. 39 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
And that is the switch that could happen in the near future in terms of federal regulations that makes it easier for you to switch banks without fees and without the headache of having to manually reset your bank account number, your checking account number, your Visa card number, with all of your bill pays, all the automatic payments. We're going to take your live calls, 801-575-TALK. It's a rule that hasn't taken effect. It is a Biden administration rule, and we want to know if you're like Dave. Do you like this idea?
I love this idea so much. I absolutely celebrate it. So I'm going to give the Biden administration a big old win on this one. Good ideas, don't care where they come from, who they come from. Good ideas we should embrace, like some long-lost, loved, relative. This is a great idea. We should totally do this.
801-575-TALK. Have you had a bad banking experience and thought, I'm going to switch banks and I'm going to do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow rolls around and you realize this is going to be a massive headache? If I open up a new checking account at another bank, it's going to create a pile of work for me that I just don't have time for. What's that one time you went into the bank, you got upset, you felt that, they should do a better job because the customer is always right. They didn't do a great job. But on the other hand, switching banks was just too much of a headache for you, so you decided to stay put. 801-575-TALK. Do you have an experience like that, Dave?
Several experiences. I've spent a small fortune on late fees or overdrafts because there was an error or I had just lost track of something. And I've been so frustrated. I've gone into the bank multiple times to try to get them to remove fees that I felt were unfair, to the point I was so frustrated with the amount I was paying in fees, mandatory fees, and their ever-changing programs that I ended up opening up a completely different account just because it was Venmo, I'll tell you right now. I opened up a Venmo debit card because there were no fees whatsoever. There were no fees right now, and nothing, no, hey, you've got to make at least 4 purchases every month to waive the fees. No, it was just free. And I switched over and I didn't leave my bank. I still have that open, but I use my free Venmo banking, and I have exclusively. I never use my bank.
So let's talk a little bit more about the idea of totally switching banks, this rule, and it's going to take a few years to take effect. Of course, there could be court challenges to it. There could be some hiccups along the way that keep it or stall it from being implemented. But we're just talking right now about the idea of this rule, which would make it easier and free for customers to switch banks and not have to go through the massive headache of switching all of their account numbers with their bills, and redoing all the Visa numbers, which of course becomes, I think, the main roadblock for people saying, yeah, I'm going to switch banks. So I think the one benefit, certainly that I can see, is that it would potentially improve competition between banks to keep your business. So if you're unhappy with extra fees that are being added on, or you aren't happy with the customer service that you're getting at that bank for whatever reason, they may say, hey, we're going to waive this fee, or we're going to do more to keep you satisfied as a customer.
The director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said this: too many Americans are stuck in financial products with lousy rates and service.
801-575-TALK. Hi, Ruth.
Hi.
Did you switch banks?
Oh, yes, recently. After 50 years with my bank, and I got hacked into, so I went in and tried fixing it. So they opened a new account, and of course that starts over my 50 years. And then within a couple of weeks, things weren't happening, so I went back and complained, and they were not willing to help, so I was going to cancel it. And they says, well, there's a $25 or $35 charge for closing a new account before 2 weeks. And I says, leave it open then, but I'm going to draw all my money out. I was so frustrated.
Yeah, and so that's interesting because I think there's this sense of pride when I see my bank tell me how long I've been there, something like 30 years or something like that. And so you've been there 50 years, but when you open that new account, it resets, and then you're getting so you switch. How much of a headache was it for you to switch?
It was a big headache. It took me hours to change everything over.
And did you get any notification at some point down the road that you forgot like one little thing? Like to switch one little account over?
I got one that said they were going to charge my account for this amount, and I thought, what? So I started looking it up, and it never came through, and then I thought, that has to have been on my old bank,
Oh,
and
okay.
I have not heard yet that it's not, gone through or anything, so I'm not sure.
Well, thanks for sharing your story, Ruth.
I can tell you, just in our family, we have switched cell phone carriers several times. We've done T-Mobile, we've done Verizon, we've done, I think we've even done Cricket at some time. We've bounced around over the years. We have had the same bank from day one of our marriage. And I think that really speaks to the simplicity when it comes to cell phones. When you can change carriers, you keep your phone number. You don't have to go through your contacts and say, hey, everybody, I've changed my number. That would be impossible. And I think if you created it and made it as easy to switch your banking account as you do your cell phone, that is genius.
Dave's looking forward to it.
Do it, please.
Yeah.
It improves competition. We will have better service. They won't forget about us once they sign us up. I think this is a fantastic idea. I see no downside.
Straight ahead, kids asked to return handfuls of Halloween candy taken from a neighbor's bucket. The candy controversy caught on camera. Dave's going to explain what happened and what his take is on asking kids to return handfuls of candy to the candy bucket so other kids can have a few pieces of candy. We're going to talk about this straight ahead.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a look at some of our top stories this morning. Spanish Fork is set to receive over $1 million to help the city with repairs from a flood last spring. Spanish Fork Emergency Manager Trevor Sperry told the Daily Herald the funds will help the city get back to where it was before. The funding will be split into 4 projects the city has gotten approved, and Sperry says the city has spent over $3 million in flooding expenses. The Coconino County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing man last seen at a Lake Powell marina. Officials and officers there say that Scott Darlington was last seen on October 27th while on his houseboat docked at Wallweed Marina. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the sheriff's office. Now our top national story this hour from ABC News. Experts believe the latest jobs report will lead the Fed to cut interest rates after the report showed only 12,000 jobs were created in October. Here's ABC's Alexis Christoforous.
It looks as though Wall Street is now baking in a near 100% probability that the Fed will cut interest rates by a quarter point at its meeting next week and then again in December. And we know that lowering interest rates by the Fed will overall lower borrowing costs for Americans. It'll show up in things like your credit cards, auto loans, and mortgage rates. So certainly welcome news for Americans who have been, under the pressure of high inflation now for years.
It was the lowest jobs report since the end of 2020. Your money at this moment, here's how the markets are looking at it. They like it. The Dow is up 540 points right now, 1.3%. The S&P regaining 1% of the losses from yesterday. It's up 61, and the NASDAQ up almost 1.5% with a gain of 255. Couple of days left in the 50s, and then we'll drop to the mid-40s for the rest of the 7-day period, and it does look like it's going to be wet or white. We'll check the forecast next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's official. KSL Sports is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment on the KSL Sports Zone. Plus, let your voice be heard on the Utah Hockey Club Fan Forum on KSLSports.com, your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is KSL Sports and 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Heather Kelly's in the traffic center.
And drivers in Saratoga Springs have the worst of the commute right now. Still have delays if you are heading westbound on Pioneer Crossing between Market Street and Mountain View Corridor. Although the delays are easing, traffic's starting to move a little bit faster as the traffic thins out. All of those delays are due to construction. Only one left lane is open. But I-15, which has most of our traffic, is traveling at speed both directions getting into Salt Lake City. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today, although, I guess there are some clouds out there, but plenty of sunshine at the moment. We're going to reach 57. Tomorrow we'll stay in the 50s early. 56 expected, but then rain comes in the afternoon, and it looks like it will really pick up on Sunday. 3 of the next 4 days could be wet in the valleys and white if you're up in the mountains. Right now in Salt Lake City, it is 39 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
So this story starts to unfold first thing this morning. Of course, it's the day after Halloween, and Dave looks at his cell phone this morning and says, "Have I got a story for you?" And then he sends me a screen grab of what appears to be young kids grabbing into a bucket of Halloween candy, sitting on a porch in one Utah community, and then a series of text messages or social media messages that are going back and forth between parents, trying to identify whose children took handfuls of candy out of the Halloween bucket. So you might remember the viral video of a mom and her little daughter in a tutu stealing a bowl of candy, and the baby girl telling her mom, the little girl telling her mom, "It's too much and you're being bad."
Too much. Let's go. It's too much.
Aww.
I know, it's okay. Come on.
You're
So
being
sweet.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The mom's trying to justify it.
So the story that we're going to talk about right now has to do with a situation that happened in the Layton area last night at about 8:14 p.m. on somebody's front porch.
Yeah, this by far my favorite story of the day. I can't wait to talk about this, and I think you and I land on different spots of what was the appropriate response. I think if you leave out a bowl of candy, this is candy roulette. You're taking your chances. That bowl might last the night, or some kid might empty it 5 minutes into their pillowcase. You just never know. That's the beauty of Halloween. But I could not believe when these kids are stealing candy, which has been going on since the dawn of time. It's as common as cavities. When the kids steal the candy, it gets caught on the doorbell cam. And then the owner takes a screenshot, posts it on the community Facebook page or group me, something like that.
Yeah, there's like a neighborhood page.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood group. It's about 150 people. And posts it on the page and says this: if these are your kids, can you please have them come bring back the multiple handfuls of candy so other kids can get some? They emptied the rest of the bucket into their bags. This hand-wringing of, they stole our candy. You got to bring them back, which I thought was kind of crazy until I see at 8:14 p.m., the mom says, you bet, I'll bring him myself. And then another dad chimes in, he'll be there in a minute.
Oh.
So the parents are like, you march yourself right back and return that candy.
So back me up just a bit. And this is happening in the Layton area up north. Up north, at least when I say north, Davis County. And a screen grab of the video, or at least that's what you saw, lands on a community social media page.
Yeah.
And we all have those, right? I have one in my neighborhood where everybody can post pictures of something if they're missing something or their dog gets lost. Okay. So, and this is happening last night, Halloween, of course, kids out trick-or-treating by the hundreds, and it captures some young kids. How old were they?
Yeah, this is probably a 8 to 10-year-old kid. This isn't obnoxious 17-year-old kids. This is, 8 to 10 years old.
And there's appears to be a bucket of Halloween candy sitting on the front porch. You don't know the status of the homeowner, right? You don't know if they're home, if they had to run out or run an errand or something like that.
Porch light is on.
Yeah, so it's like kind of take a couple, but then what the community page leads you to believe is that these kids took handfuls of candy. And then their moms and dads see this on the community page and are like, we'll be right back with our kiddos.
They perp walk Batman.
Bring him myself.
The walk of shame.
Okay.
Like you're walking back, you're returning that candy.
Okay.
Which just ruins Halloween, right? I mean, these kids' night was ruined.
You think?
Oh, for sure. They got in trouble with their parents. They had to perp walk all the way to the victim's house and return a couple handfuls of candy.
So can I tell you why I side and who I side with on this and why I side with them? I side with the person who posted the photo of the kids on the community Facebook page and asked out loud what I wish I could have asked 20 years ago. We just didn't have all of these social media tools to do it, nor did I have a doorbell camera capable of capturing anything because they just didn't exist. I side with the homeowner, and I'm also applauding the parents for saying, look, I'm going to bring my child back, and he's going to face the music on this. Because, you put out a bowl of Halloween candy, and you say take 2 or take 3. At least that's what I did when I left a bowl of Halloween candy out for the neighborhood kids, because I had something to do that evening, and I'm going to tell you what it was in just a second. But, you put a couple of out there and you ask them to, or you put a bowl out there and you ask them to take a couple and then they take handfuls. Well, I think this is a great teaching moment for the kids. And it sounds like they did have to face the music last night. So what happened to me, Dave, is I was for many months playing single mom, and I put that in air quotes. It's only because my husband was called. He went to some training back east for months, and my kids were little. Talking about maybe 2005-ish, and I think my oldest was about 9 years old. And they wanted to go out. Of course, they wanted to go out trick-or-treating, and I was single mom in it for several months. And so I had to be the one to leave the house, and I put the porch light on. I put a bucket out there for the kids, and we were only gone like 30 or 45 minutes before it started to actually get really, really cold out and started to snow. So we kind of made our way back, and there was no way. We lived on a dead-end street on a cul-de-sac, and that dead-end street dead-ended into a huge field. There was no way I didn't leave enough candy out for the very few kids that were going to stop by our house. The entire bucket was gone. It was just gone. It was clearly dumped into somebody's pillowcase that they were, lugging around, and it was just gone. I left out so much candy. And it just seemed wrong, but I couldn't do anything about it because, again, I had no evidence. And like my kids come back and they notice that the entire bucket is gone. And I wish I would have been able to put it on the community Facebook page and say, hey, bring your kids back. I also think this is a great teaching moment, as I've said, for these young kids. This is a community event. It's just not your night. It's other kids' nights at night as well. And everybody should enjoy the bucket of candy. And did you read the sign? I don't know what the sign said at this particular house.
I don't know if there was a sign.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But what are your thoughts?
Okay.
Where do you land on this?
I'm a little surprised you don't have any heartburn over posting 10-year-olds' faces on the community page, right?
I would
Outing
say
the
it'd be a
kids.
little different. How many members on that community page?
150.
Okay, I think it'd be a little bit different if it were, publicizing it on a massive website somewhere.
I think anytime you're publicly shaming a 10-year-old, you should be very, very cautious before you do that. And I don't think I give you the pass because they stole a few pieces of Halloween candy. Now, we always put out a bucket. We always do. We never open the door and put a piece. If you want to restrict it to one piece, then open the door. And and then you pass it out, or put out a reasonable amount and refill it throughout the night. I don't know, but my heartburn is way too much drama, way too much stress, way too much embarrassment for the kids over stealing a couple of handfuls of candy, right? I don't think anybody is looking at that and just like, is that the learning opportunity? We're going to shame kids publicly in the neighborhood. And the parents, right? Because that reflects on the parents as well. You're like, oh, that's Noriega's kid. Must be a terrible father. I can't believe they'd steal that. It just feels like a lot of embarrassment of what should be a very fun night. And I feel a little bad for the kids. I think it's embarrassing.
You want to take calls?
Let's take phone calls. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just want all the candy stealing in the world. Or do you like the perp walk of Batman as he has to walk across the street, the walk of shame, to return all the candy that was taken? 801-575-TALK. Let us know what you think. Are you all into the candy shaming business? 801-575-TALK.
It's finally Friday with Dave and Dujanovic.
The temperatures outside have dropped a bunch, and now my family and I are enjoying the benefits of our brand new windows from Advanced Window Products in a different way. During the summer, it was nice to be able to keep the cold air in. Now it's nice to see how much more efficiently we can keep warm air inside. We replaced 20 of our builder-grade windows with high-efficiency windows and a glass door to our backyard with a built-in pet door, and we have just been thrilled with the results. We're already saving on our energy bill. We're helping pay for the windows with the rebate available through Dominion Energy. Our price didn't include any middleman markups because they did the sales and the installation all in-house. My wife and I love that there's a lifetime warranty serviced by their local team, labor, glass, parts included. I promise they're going to treat you right and you'll have an amazing experience from start to finish, just like I did. Right now is a great time to do it. Also, they're having an end-of-season sale. Save $2,500 on 10 windows or more. 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
In 2024, dating is a disaster. We've been ghosted, breadcrumbed, stuck in situationships. Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm Caitlin. Welcome to our new podcast, Dating at Her Age. Dating has been so dicey for us, so we asked KSL, can we launch an all-new podcast about it?
People use these dating apps. You're not really dating when you're on the dating app.
Dating at Her Age, brought to you by Mountain Home Services. A new episode drops every Thursday on KSLNewsRadio.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Want to avoid getting sick this fall? Getting your immunizations is a classic approach. You can protect yourself against the flu, RSV, pneumonia, and COVID. Does that sound like music to your ears? Then talk to a doctor or healthcare provider. And visit uptodate.utah.gov to learn more.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, a man was taken into custody after barricading himself in a Salt Lake City apartment and holding a woman against her will last night. Second, an Orem man is facing multiple charges after police say he gave alcohol to underage kids at an unlicensed dance club. And third, rain is headed our way to the Utah Valley. Snow expected in the mountains this weekend, all while temperatures continue to drop 10 below seasonal normals coming for most of the next 7 days. Right now in Salt Lake City, it is 40 degrees. Let's get you back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
These young kids in the Layton area caught on a doorbell cam. And the person who lives at the home posts on a neighborhood page, like a community social media page. Like, if these are your kids, could you please have them come back, bring back the multiple handfuls of candy so others can get some? They emptied the rest of the bucket into their bags. And at 8:15 about in the evening last night, one mom responds, "You bet, I'll bring him myself. I'll bring him myself." And then another dad responds, "He'll be there in a minute."
Yeah, Batman and Spider-Man not wearing their masks, a reason why you should always wear your mask, make it less easily identifiable. But it cracks me up here because I'm a little surprised that people are so comfortable or fine with adults posting pictures of 10-year-olds out there and shaming them because of their candy stealing.
Now, this happened on Halloween, and if you've ever had it happen to you, which I have, and I explained that earlier, the entire bucket of candy, major amount of candy gone. This is exactly what I thought too, what the homeowner posted back to the parents. We understand they're just kids, but do want others to be able to enjoy. Thank you for your response. 801-575-TALK. What side do you fall on this? Is it appropriate to, put these kids' photos on a neighborhood page and ask the parents, if you know these kids, please have them bring the handfuls of candy back, or is it not?
Gary in South Jordan, what do you think, Gary?
So I think it's pretty funny. I've made it an annual thing to look on Ring Doorbell and see all the people that put buckets out and then complain about them getting stolen.
Oh.
So anyway, I got a story that's better than the one you have. Out of Harriman, there was 2 boys that come to a porch with a bucket of candy, and the guy had put a sign on there that said, "Take all you want, but not the Starbursts, because my wife loves them."
Mm.
Well, they started taking Starburst out of their own bags to give to her.
That's sweet. That's a sweet
And
one,
then
Gary. That's a sweet one. Thanks, Gary, for the phone call. Hi, Ray. How are you? How's Idaho? You're calling us from Franklin.
Well, yes, I'm out riding right now, but I am from Franklin.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this? Do you side with the homeowner, or do you side with Dave?
Well, I side with the fact that the kids stole something and they need to pay the consequences. It doesn't matter how much they're embarrassed. We live in a day where pictures are posted, so that's the consequences. I think that they need to suffer the consequences.
Thanks, Ray. Troy from Tooele, what are your thoughts on this candy controversy in Layton?
Yeah, I think you're setting yourself up if you put a bucket out in the first place. But I believe I raised my 2 sons with accountability, so I praise the parents making them come back. I mean, I didn't come up with it. A lot of these therapeutic places that treat low-risk teens change the behaviors. They address accountability on the smallest to the highest level. So it's accountability. So I think it's a good lesson these kids were taught.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm pro-stealing, right? But here's the thing. We're literally handing out candy. I don't know if there was a sign that says take 1, take 2. I guess there's we just kind of understand, take a reasonable amount, be respectful of others. I'm not trying to defend that. What bothers me is that an adult would post 10-year-old faces out there on the community social media site and call them out. And I just think that's an overreaction. I put out a bowl of candy every single year. I've done it for years. There's years that I come back, it's been totally empty. There's other years that it comes back and there's a few pieces that have remained and it's lasted the night. That's great. I look at it as Halloween bowl roulette, right? Sometimes it turns out great, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm not going to, crack down and set up a sting operation to make sure kids only took 1 candy. Aren't we playing it a little too hard on a night that is about the kids and making it about us? Bryn, what do you think in Springville?
Yeah, our candy was stolen a year ago, and I checked the cameras. I saw the kid. I knew him, knew the family, and I have 2 points. One is that kids at this age, he was like 8 or 9, are just extremely impulsive. And the second thing is that hopefully parents are working on this honesty and integrity at home, and these lessons are being taught. And then if not, then the little kid's just going to get the wrath of the parents. And so I didn't want that either.
Right. Thanks for your call, Bryn. RJ from South Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I think that it's a great opportunity to teach our kids that they are always on camera and to remember that. And, this is not 1993 anymore, and so everything's out there. But then also, there was one on our neighborhood Facebook page this week where 2 kids went in and vandalized all the Halloween decorations. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, does that change things where when it becomes vandalism versus?
Oh, for sure.
'Cause in general, I side with an adult shouldn't be posting pictures of kids that aren't their own on a website. Totally agree with that. But then when it was if it was something more than just candy thief, when I think that we actually call it trick or treat, I kind of think I would have let that one go. But then I wonder if it changes things if, a kid is out there cutting up somebody's Halloween decorations.
No, that's a good point. And there is a line, no question, right? If somebody is doing something illegal and vandalism, this is taking a couple of handfuls of candy. And I think, is this the opportunity? Is this the time? And how comfortable are we? There are cameras all over the place, right? You walk up and down a neighborhood, you are going to see doorbell cam, doorbell cam, doorbell cam, doorbell cam. How comfortable as a parent are you with other people posting your kids and putting it out there for some perceived wrong, right? I mean, you guys are largely comfortable, I guess, with adults posting your kids onto the Facebook page or some social media app. I'm not. I don't think that's a good step or a step in the right direction. I think kids should largely be kept out of this. If you know the kid, if you know the parent, and you want to address it privately, I have no problem with that. Hey, parent, a little heads up.
So it sounds like if it was your kid, I'll just use my kids for example. If it was my kids, I would want to know about it. I don't have the same heartburn that you're having over the posting of the kids. I would want to know about it. And anytime my kids did something to this effect, not the same thing, I hope they would never have done that, but I addressed it right away. And I would take them back to the location if something had happened, and I would have them issue an apology. Sometimes it was a written apology. I as a parent would not want to be in the dark that my kid had done this. I think I would have no issue whatsoever if I looked at that Facebook page or whatever the page was, the neighborhood page, and it was my little Batman or my little princess dressed up on Halloween, taking that. I would grab them. Absolutely. In fact, I might even make them use their allowance for the next few years to go out and purchase new bags of Halloween candy at the grocery store with me that night. Dave, don't put it past me. I got really creative. Yeah. I got really creative. I would look at this as a teaching moment for my kids, and that's exactly what I would do. I would use it as a teaching moment. Yeah, and I think I see it as an overreaction. If you want to handle it in private, that's one thing, but posting it on the community space, it just feels like too much to me. We're giving out candy to the kids for free, didn't steal anything.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. The voting lines were an hour long at a voting location in Draper this week. And the Weber County Clerk, Ricky Hatch, says he has some theories as to why polls are getting so crowded for early voting.
We're seeing an uptick in in-person voters, probably because of some of the concerns that have come from other states with damage to drop boxes and things like that.
Now, in Weber County, Hatch says the longest wait times they've had have been about 15 minutes. He recommends having a plan B, like mail-in voting or dropping it in a ballot box, so even if the lines get crazy, your voice is still heard. A man is accused of killing a camper in Montana who was originally believed to be the victim of a bear attack. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office told CNN that Darren Abbey has been arrested and confessed to the murder. That happened almost 3 weeks ago. Authorities still investigating. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The final government jobs report before Election Day was below expectations. Just 12,000 new jobs last month. Hurricanes Helene and Milton, along with the strike at Boeing, put a dent in the numbers. Unemployment rate stands at 4.1%, which matches the previous month. Your money at this moment. The Dow Jones average up on the day now 445 points. The NASDAQ is up 217. And our KSL weather. We've got some sunshine today, but clouds are moving in for the weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? It's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own. More than a dozen, all to keep me connected to the good stuff. My streaming, my gaming, all my interneting, you name it. Xfinity knows the number of devices we have connected to the internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds! For real. Now through December 31st, get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 12 months with Peacock Premium, a $7.99 monthly value included at no extra cost when you add unlimited mobile, or lock in your internet price for 2 years for just $5 more a month with a 1-year contract. Early termination fee applies. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it and then some. Call, click, or visit a store today. Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes, and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $96 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Step into the warmth of the holidays at Western Nut. We're here to make gift-giving special and stress-free. Grandpa's favorite peanut brittle, a gift basket with a variety of nuts and treats for your neighbor who brings in your garbage cans. How about your coworkers? Yep, we've got you covered with our nut gift boxes, pre-wrapped in holiday paper, homemade caramels, baking nuts, popcorn brittle, dried fruit trays, and cashews galore. Local honey and jams, and our Nut of the Month subscription give a variety of nut gift boxes straight to their door. Our shop is a winter wonderland, and this year, join us to kick off our huge holiday preview sale and save on everything in store. 4th South and 3rd West, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. Stuck at the North Pole? Visit westernut.com or call our team, who will take your order and ship your gift with care. Western Nut has been a part of Utah family traditions for nearly 60 years. More than nuts. At Western Nut Company, we sell memories.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
We have some unusual delays. Northbound I-15 as you leave North Salt Lake and head just past 2600 South Woods Cross exit. Haven't heard of a crash in the area. Maybe there's debris, but something is slowing traffic down as you go through Woods Cross right now. Other than that, you've got a pretty good commute on all the other major roadways across the Wasatch Front, and not a lot of accidents reported on city streets. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 57, and cloudy tomorrow with a chance of rain. Rain and high elevation snow are likely on Sunday. 43 degrees and sunny right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We're talking about a story that I caught in the Wall Street Journal this week. It's entitled, "The Little Sins We Commit at Work and the Bosses Who Are Cracking Down." Dave and I are going to take you on perk patrol at the office and fill you in on how bosses are cracking down and employees are paying the price by getting shown the door.
Oh, my goodness. This is a level of micromanaging that is This is like the Mount Rushmore. Go ahead and put your face up there, carve it into stone, because this level of micromanaging would send me running out the doors.
Well, the article starts, and I'm going to just bounce these few things off of you because I thought, oh, yeah, I've done. You ever use the printer at work for your kid's homework assignment? To print it off, right?
Yeah.
To print off of your own personal bank statement because you got to go fight with the bank teller over an extra charge or something. So you're printing that off.
No, it's great. That's such a great example because we will burn through 500 trees a day at this place. But can you imagine if someone printed one too many? It's like, we're cracking down on this.
So I have a really quick story, and I was actually working here at Broadcast House at the time, and we were in the middle of purchasing a new home. And I was just using a scanner to scan the documents in, and we were on deadline. When you buy and sell homes, you are on deadline, and the deadlines are never convenient with my television news career and my husband's career as a police officer because we never knew where we were going to be when. So I scanned everything in using the scanner here just to get the process and meet the deadline. Somebody from the few floors up calls me and says, just so you know, all of your documents are getting scanned up here on the third floor. I was like, oh, I totally misdirected the scanner. It was no wonder it wasn't coming to my email. Busted, I guess. But we ended up fine. We ended up getting the home. But also thinking about this, like you're doom scrolling like Facebook Marketplace because you want to buy a used coffee table over the weekend. But you're on a Zoom meeting with the boss. So these are some examples that the Wall Street Journal starts the article with. But let's get more into the details on they interview the director of a company called Payhawk. It seems to me that this company does a lot with credit card accounts and companies. And so she said what they've started to notice is that companies are asking Payhawk to restrict when and where credit cards are used for the company. And they gave an example. It can limit a lunch allowance to be available only on weekdays from like 11 to 2 p.m., and you can only use your company credit card to purchase lunch at a restaurant, and it'll flag if you're using it at a grocery store. Because the assumption is going to be you're at the grocery store buying pimple pads, right? You're buying shoelaces, right, for 3 times the price that you should because your shoelace broke. And they can actually track this kind of stuff. And then they don't, I don't know they don't follow what happens to the employee, but they're starting to now think about alerting companies in real time. So when an employee who has a company credit card swipes the card and maybe, we'll put on there that they bought lunch at the grocery store, it'll actually flag that they bought other items at the grocery store, like laundry detergent doesn't count, right?
Right.
And so this is one of the perk patrols that we're talking about.
And this has become extremely popular, especially since the pandemic when people were working remotely. Does this address mouse tracking at all? Have you ever heard of mouse tracking?
Yeah, where you don't move your mouse for hours.
Yeah, it will track how often your mouse is moving, the little pointer on the screen, how many clicks you have. And I think, okay, this is step one, right? This is what happens is you start looking at every single thing, every single hour, asking your employees to account for every movement they make. And that just sounds like a horrible work experience.
Well, they point out some instances in this article, Dave, that Meta fired employees for spending $25 meal allowances on other items. Ernst & Young dismissing workers who watched multiple training videos at the same time. So your training videos are being monitored. I've heard of this. Like you're taking a test at the end of the training, and it's a 50 question multiple choice test and you finish it in 30 seconds. Hello. They can tell, and it raises suspicion. And they also point to Target, letting employees go who jumped the line to buy those Stanley water bottles ahead of what the general public being allowed to get in there and buy it.
I remember that.
And they also, I want to mention that, they said that the companies declined to comment on the incidents. But it kind of helps explain how Perk Patrol can come at employees from all different angles, right? Whether it's a training video that you say you watched, but the computer monitoring software says you watched it for only 30 seconds and you finished the test in 10 seconds, or you're watching multiple videos all at once, or you're out swiping the company credit card saying you're lunching at Chipotle, but it shows that you're really shopping at the local grocery store for a few items that you need for your pantry. What do you think of this?
I think, listen, if someone is abusing their job or their privileges, I'm not in any way saying, yeah, we shouldn't crack down on that. Of course, if you're out there buying laundry detergent instead of buying a client's lunch, of course, that is absolutely inappropriate, and I think that is, quite frankly, that's probably criminal activity. You're spending the company's money when you shouldn't be. There's also been times when there's an innocent mistake. I've had a company credit card in the past, and I pull it out and I swipe it, and I bought myself a drink when I'm like, I grabbed the wrong one.
I've done that with Uber.
Yeah, where you're like, I used the wrong card, my bad.
Yeah, I've done that with Uber, and
So
they have to remind me, make sure that you're no longer on that work trip. You got to remove the company credit card from the Uber app.
Yeah. Now, there's some innocent stuff that happens. My concern is if they're starting to track every single thing I do, every click, every phone call, every text, that is an invasion of privacy, quite frankly. I understand. I am your employee. There's a certain level of transparency that you're entitled to. I understand. But I'm afraid we're getting too far to the point where we are tracking every website that you're following, every time you move your mouse, every time you click, how long you should answer a question. Are you finishing that test too quickly? Well, maybe you just know the answers. Maybe this is the 37th time you've seen the sexual harassment training, and you can pretty much answer the questions at the end. I don't need to see a 37th video.
So I come down on a totally different side of this. Not unusual, especially given the landscape of our conversations today. I have no problem with Perk Patrol. I think if you're not doing anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You're not going to go swipe the company credit card at the grocery store unless the boss has asked you to stop by the grocery store to buy the birthday cake for Dave's birthday next week. So guess what? I will be swiping a credit card guaranteed at a grocery store next week, a company credit card, to bring in a birthday cake and balloons and flowers for Dave's birthday. We'll celebrate it here on what is it, Tuesday? 801-575-TALK. What's the most trivial thing you've been called on the carpet for by your boss?
I've got a good one.
I've got a better one. I've got a better. You got a good one. You got a better one. No, I got a better one. Mine's better than Dave's. 801-575-TALK. Tell us next.
It's Friday.
I could use a late night call or a letter from a friend, but it's only if you feel like sending it.
With Dave and Dujanovic. With so much going on,
the E. coli outbreak,
hundreds of thousands of ballots,
2 stories about the Utah County Clerk,
BYU 8-0.
It may have slipped your mind. This Sunday, set your clock back an hour. If your clock doesn't do that for you. A friendly reminder to keep you on time. From KSL News Radio.
Fall is here, and there's nothing better than to sit in a relaxing hot tub when it's cold outside. Hot Tub Factory Outlet and Backyards of America can help you save on your next hot tub. Save a staggering 30, 40, even 50% off MSRP on Sundance hot tubs and swim spas. Yes, you heard right. 30, 40, even 50% off. With every size and color available, your choices are limitless. And here's the icing on the cake. Be one of the first 20 buyers and receive a free $2,700 electric massage chair. Absolutely free. But hurry, these chairs are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone. Every Sundance hot tub and swim spa is priced to sell. Visit the largest swim spa showroom in the state and find out how easy it is to say yes to your very own hot tub or swim spa. Time is running out. Head over to Hot Tub Factory Outlet next to Cowabunga Bay and Draper, Backyards of America in Sandy, and our new location, Station Park in Farmington.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. The movie show will be coming to you live today from Sound Sleep. We're at one of their 6 locations. We're at the Sandy location, but they've got locations in Clearfield, Murray, American Fork, Provo, and St. George. And we're joined now by Melissa Lowry. Melissa, not a lot of people got up early this morning, and I'm sure that whoever did was as tired as I was. But there's a lot of reasons you can be tired, and it wasn't just because it was Halloween last night.
It's true. So on a normal night, not Halloween, if you wake up the next day and you're still tired, maybe a morning headache, maybe someone said you've been snoring, those are all red flags that you might have something more serious going on called sleep apnea. That's what we're all about here at Sound Sleep. We want to help you find out if you have it, and we want to help you fix it in a really easy way.
So how can we do that?
Well, we've got a great offer today during the movie show. Call in. The number is 801-716-8672. When you call that, we're going to automatically give you a free sleep screening, which is a test you get to do at home in your own bed. Free sleep consultation, which means come in and we'll give you those results and explain it to you for free. No obligation. And then the fix is an oral appliance. It's not a CPAP machine. It's much more convenient, a lot easier for people to use, and the great news is it's covered by health insurance.
Oh, see, we're getting to the end of the year. I know I've met my deductible a long time ago, so this is the time of year when, you're thinking, oh, this might be something if it's early in the year, gotta wait. But right now's the time to do it for sure. But really the most important thing, though, is to find out if you have sleep apnea and to get that corrected. I mean, it's tied to so many different health issues that we'll talk about as we go on the movie show today. And the different things that maybe you didn't think that sleep apnea or not getting the right kind of sleep. You can get the right amount of sleep, I use air quotes, but if you're not getting the right kind of sleep, it's not giving you the benefits that sleep is supposed to give your body.
That's correct. And like you said, if you're not getting the right kind of sleep, it's going to catch up with you down the road. So many health issues are related to untreated sleep apnea. You don't want to have to deal with it.
So 801-716-8672 to make that free appointment for a sleep screening and sleep consultation with Sound Sleep.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, there were long lines for early voting this week at some polling places, but county officials say they'll have that fixed by Election Day. Second, Los Angeles planning a huge party today to celebrate the Dodgers' win in the World Series. Third, hurricanes in the south, strikes in the northwest kept job growth low last month. 43 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Love taking your live calls, especially on a Friday. And we're decompressing before, of course, next week's election week. You'll hear all of the live coverage right here on KSL News Radio. Dave and I coming out strong on Monday with up-to-the-minute information about voting. And then, of course, when results start rolling in on Tuesday, Jeff Kaplan on the microphone, along with Boyd Matheson and Mara Carabello, will be hosting a full special on that. But we thought we'd keep it a little light today. And maybe it won't be so light because we're talking about perks that you got called on the carpet for by your boss. What's the most petty, trivial thing that's happened at work that you've been called on the carpet for by your boss? 801-575-TALK. Dave says he's got a phenomenal story to share.
Yeah, this really bothered me. It has stuck with me for years. This was probably 20 years ago, but I was a photographer at another station. And we were working up in Logan, me and a reporter, and we had gone out, we'd shot our story, we'd gathered all the interviews, and then we'd pulled into a parking lot, and she was writing the story. And then once she writes the story, then I will edit it.
Right. And if you don't know in the news business, which I know probably people are, this is pretty common. When you go out with a photographer, the reporter sits beside them in the passenger seat, and either with a laptop, for me, a lot of times it was a pen and piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it was a pen in my hand, literally writing on my hand and on my, and so we could meet deadline, right?
Yeah.
We didn't come all the way back to the station to do it.
Yeah, industry standard. This was a totally normal work day, but I'm sitting there doing nothing as she writes the script. I get a call from the boss because they had put trackers on our vehicle.
I know where this is going.
And the excuse was, we want to know who's closest in case something breaking happens. Well, he calls me up and says, what are you doing? I've seen that you're just sitting there for the past 20 minutes. What are you doing right now? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm sitting here waiting for my reporter to write her story so I can edit it, like we do. It bothered me so much that he time checked me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my job. Sometimes there's downtime in the job, and that's just what happens. It has bothered me for years. It still bothers me, and it is such a sour reminder for me and what my relationship was with that boss.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, Dave. I laugh because of the way you tell the story, but I hurt for you because I know what that's like. And you're also on a deadline, and you don't have the opportunity to drive all the way back. What's Logan's an hour and 30 minutes to get back to the station. It doesn't make sense. You're going to probably feed the video back that you're going to edit. And maybe it was the way he approached the conversation.
Yeah, it was a gotcha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And in the perk police, this feels like a lot of gotcha moments. I have absolutely no problem. You're being paid, do your job, be effective. Mm-hmm. But if your boss thinks that every waking hour of the day is completely and totally focused and there's no downtime, then you're just obviously you have not worked on the floor, folks.
Dave and I talking about this article in the Wall Street Journal that I spotted this week, the little sins we commit at work and the bosses who are cracking down. And they cite examples where employees have been let go because their bosses have, air quotes, caught them doing something they felt they shouldn't be doing. Maybe go speeding through training way too fast, multiple training videos being watched at the same time, hopping the line in front of the general public to purchase something in the store that's going on sale before customers have an opportunity to get through the doors, and then also more carefully tracking what is being spent on the company credit card and where you're spending it, and also maybe setting parameters on when you can and can't buy lunch. So credit cards now, some companies are requesting their credit card provider to, make it so employees who do have a company credit card can only purchase lunch at a restaurant, not at a grocery store, just in case the employee is purchasing things they shouldn't be purchasing at the grocery store. And also from 11 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when they could use it to buy lunch. I have a story where a little different than yours. You know, in most of my career, and like you, we work these really odd hours. And it's not 9 to 5. I call it shift work. It finally dawned on me very recently when you and I were in the middle of a discussion that that's what I've worked most of my life is shift work. But the work kind of never ends. You know, and I think you can get called any time, or you end up working a whole bunch of overtime. You end up working weekends and nights. And I just always want to make it clear, this did not happen here. This was in another place I worked. And it wasn't even when I was in the news business. It was a totally different business. I had worked a ton of hours over the weekend, extra hours. I did get paid overtime, or I got what's called, compensated for comp time later. But I was so worn down from the weekend, and it were a lot of hours. I was so worn down. I was 15 minutes late getting through the door on Monday morning, and I got called on the carpet by the boss. And my heart broke. My heart broke.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at that as a me taking advantage or a perk that I was getting by wandering in ever so slowly with my
on Debbie Standard Time
coffee in my right hand and watching YouTube on my phone in my left hand. I was late because I was completely worn down. And he made me take 15 minutes of vacation time for that.
No, that is unreal. That is incredible. Mm-hmm. See, I think so often when we start just accepting, like, hey, that's fine. Go ahead and track every website I visit, every click, and how often I'm at my computer. If you do trust your employee that little, find a new employee. Go ahead and just get rid of me. If there's so little trust. And so often I think we're just punching a clock. This sounds like very much punch a clock, put your hours in. The most iconic graphic in world history is the Nike swoosh, right? Everyone knows, I say the Nike swoosh, you know exactly what I mean.
Right.
The Nike swoosh is valued as a brand at $26 billion. That swoosh.
Oh, the one on my...
The one on your shoes right now. The iconic.
I know.
Do you know how long that thing took to create?
I've heard this story. It was a woman who created it, right?
17 hours.
Yeah.
It took 2 days and was paid $35 for that design. And it is the most iconic swoosh. Had you spent an entire year and put it through focus groups and spent millions and millions of dollars on that design, you could justify it. Because it is such an incredible design. But the fact that she did it in 17 hours, she got paid $35. Is that fair? Is it fair that she was so good and so inspired that she just gave away the most popular logo in history? But no, she got $35, so it's all good. No, if you do great work, let's look at the results more than how you got there. I would have loved to have had this woman that developed the Nike swoosh be the millionaire that she deserves to be, because that is unbelievable. How about we focus on the results more than this nitpicking, micromanaging journey?
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. Salt Lake City firefighters had to go back to the scene of an apartment fire early this morning. Crews were first called to Chateau Normandy, the corner of 1st South and 4th East yesterday, because of reports of smoke coming out of the windows. Fire Captain Chris Burke says they went back just after midnight.
We got reports of smoke and flames. Crews showed up, had significant smoke and flames. We've been fighting a defensive fire since then. No civilian injuries, no firefighter injuries.
He says because the building was not occupied and wasn't safe, they decided to pull their crews out and fight a defensive fire, and they're keeping an eye on the building now to make sure it doesn't catch fire again. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Just days before Election Day, Jen Easterly, the director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency at DHS, is telling ABC News that several foreign countries, including China, Russia, and Iran, are spreading misinformation online about the safety of our elections. She says the battleground states this year all have paper ballots available as a backup so they can certify their election results. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day right now, 444 points. The NASDAQ is up 217. And our KSL weather, we've got some sunshine this morning, but clouds will move in for the weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
An airliner heads for Alaska with 101 passengers and crew. Then, somewhere over the Gulf of Alaska, Flight 293 slams into the icy water below.
Even if all 4 engines quit, it just doesn't fall out of the sky.
No bodies were recovered. Loved ones had no closure and were left to wonder.
What happened to Flight 293?
Unsolved Histories, What Happened to Flight 293 is available now. Follow us at unsolvedhistoriespod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dave and Debbie.
It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You know, you can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we're with Melissa Lowry from Sound Sleep. Melissa, we're talking about how you can correct sleep apnea without having to put a mask on your face and blow air in your face all night long, because for some people, that it just doesn't work for them.
No, CPAPs work great if you can leave it on your face, but that's the trick. At Sound Sleep Medical, we do an oral appliance. It's like a custom-made mouth guard. Kind of like bleach trays or retainers. You wear it on your teeth just at night. It's the perfect fit, perfect size for you, and what it does is stabilize your lower jaw, keeping your airway open so that oxygen levels stay up, snoring goes away, and sleep apnea goes away.
So that way you don't have to have forced air. The airway is already open.
Exactly. So it's much, much easier. Obviously, there's no electricity or distilled water. There's no mask on your face. And the great news is, like we said earlier, it's usually covered by health insurance. It can qualify for things like HSA, flex spending, and we even have 0% financing if you need it.
So to find out if you even have sleep apnea, that's another stumbling block for a lot of people is don't want to have to go take a sleep test where you go somewhere and they watch you sleep and observe and all this stuff. They don't need to do it that way anymore.
No, it is a huge stumbling block. A lot of people have avoided or delayed sleep testing because they think that's the only way to do it. We are offering with the show today a free at-home sleep screening. You just swing by one of our 6 Utah locations, pick up a little kit, use the equipment one night at home in your own bed, bring it back. We'll download it, give you answers, explain all the results, also for free.
And to do that, to make that appointment, 801-716-8672. That's 801-716-8672. Call Sound Sleep, and we have a giveaway, too. Should we wait till movie show to tell about that one?
No, let's go for it.
All right, let's tell them now.
Yeah, if you call in, automatically you'll get the free test and the consultation to give you the results. No obligation. But by calling in, we're going to put you into a drawing for our Better Sleep gift basket. It includes a Minky blanket, purple pillow, and $50 Amazon gift card.
Well, that's got to be the reason. If you were waiting, that's the reason to call 801-716-8672.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
We've got good speeds on all the major freeways, including I-15 throughout Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties. We did have a crash on the west side belt. This was northbound I-215, right near the top of the on-ramp from 700 North. But it just cleared about a minute and a half ago, so all the lanes there are now open. You're still going to have a little bit of delay on Pioneer Crossing coming out of Saratoga Springs. This is heading westbound toward Mountain View Corridor. It's due to road construction. Only one left lane is open. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 57, then cloudy tomorrow with a chance of rain. Rain and high elevation snow likely on Sunday. 45 degrees and sunny right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Your voice, your vote, 2024. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Look, if you're feeling some stress or anxiety about Tuesday, let's learn how we can deal with it. In a few moments, we're going to have a News Nation contributor join us. She's also written a book called Politics for People Who Hate Politics. How to Engage Without Losing Your Friends or Selling Your Soul. First of all, I love the title, but the American Psychological Association found that about almost 70% of adults say they feel significant stress about the upcoming election. And a lot of people also say the political climate is just so strained that it's also strained their relationships with family members.
I get this from people occasionally. They're like, oh, I hate politics. And I say, you don't hate politics. You hate the way we talk about politics. The conversations can be fascinating. And I will bring up certain things and I'll pick their brains and we can have a really engaging dialogue about politics. And I always finish like, see, you don't hate politics. You just don't like the way we talk about it. So often when it is combative, then it can be stressful. When it's done right, it's interesting, it's invigorating, and I love it. But when it's done wrong, boy, do we do it wrong.
And for me, I just avoid it. Got any big trips planned for next year?
Which is so funny because you have so many good and interesting ideas and conversations to be had, and you avoid it.
I have them all here with you on the radio.
That's right. That's good. Empty the can.
Hi, Denise.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
I'm loving listening to your comments.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I can relate to both of you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you about this because what I really want to do is I do want to have a peaceful weekend. I mean, it is the fallback weekend. We get to sleep an extra hour. I don't want to be checking websites all weekend long and worried about how things go one way or the other. Denise Gitsum is a News Nation political contributor. And again, her book, Politics for People Who Hate Politics, How to Engage Without Losing Your Friends or Selling Your Soul. Let's get into some tips, Denise.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on. One of the reasons I love so much being on News Nation is because we really try to disagree without being disagreeable. So it really goes to the core of what I've written, which, by the way, I struggle myself during election season to live out all the principles in my books, especially tips that are in there like speaking the truth in love. I mean, I'm sure anyone listening can relate to the fact that when we get really passionate about something, which is a good thing to be passionate about the issues of the day, we can just get caught up in forgetting that there are other perspectives that are equally legitimate even when we disagree with them. So one of the tips I always put out there is, engage in conversations like these with humility, because all of us have belief systems based on our life experiences, and all of our life experiences are different. But that doesn't make a difference, doesn't make somebody else's perspective illegitimate. It makes it something, sort of a challenge to me to understand why people believe what they believe so that I can better position, my thoughts around it, maybe even change on them. And a few of them I've definitely moved, across the political spectrum on certain issues, but also just to have compassion for people, to be able to meet them where they are, because election day will come and go, and whoever's in the White House isn't going to determine how we treat each other. We will.
I love that comment about humility because it's so easy to get sucked into that fallacy of, oh, I know. I am an expert at this. I know everything about it. And we do get sucked into that because, we want to feel that we're right. We don't want to leave it open that, you know what, I might have been wrong the entire time for the last 2 decades. How can we make sure that when we bring some of that humility, can that save a relationship, or how do we make sure that our relationships are not destroyed whenever we bring up politics?
Yeah, well, fortunately, we have the holidays. Some people think, unfortunately, right around the corner, that you got to sit across from Uncle Billy, who probably has different perspectives than your, Gen Z college student, And so there's a lot of differences in opinion that are going to be coming together at the dining table over the holidays, which are you're going to be surrounded by the people you love the most that probably aren't going to share your political perspectives. And that's true even if you all share the same, political affiliation, because nobody has a political twin. We're all unique in the way that we approach and view things. And so, I think just recognizing that as Americans, and I've lived all over the world, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that as Americans, we have so much more in common than we have separate. And when we talk about the things that we share, the hopes we have for our children, the dreams we have that a lot of our parents we came to America to fulfill, we have so much more that unites us than divides us. And I think when we focus on the wrong things, which is one political issue to the exclusion of all the other things that are so fantastic about us and our nation, that's really causing us to miss out on the bigger picture.
Denise, is there one usable tip that you can share with us if the temperature at the dinner table starts to rise over politics that we can use to cool down, cool down the argument before it starts?
Well, it's a mantra that I have to repeat to myself all the time, so hopefully it's useful to the rest of you. But it's really to respond rather than react. Our first feeling whenever we hear something we don't like is to just react. But if we can all just take a hot second, breathe, and just, for me, I ask God, because I'm a person of faith, God, can you help me to love this person? Can you help me to meet them where they are? Because I learned from my therapist a long time ago that when people feel strongly about something, especially with anger, it's because underneath that anger is a level of hurt that none of us understand, and that's based in some kind of trauma or just disappointment in life. And so when we can relate to each other by responding as humans rather than reacting as, wannabe political commentators, I think that we end up in a much better place, regardless of whether we end up agreeing or not.
Denise, thank you so much for joining us. Is with News Nation, a political contributor there, but has a book out, Politics for People Who Hate Politics. Great title. Politics for People Who Hate Politics, How to Engage Without Losing Your Friends or Selling Your Soul.
Yeah, thanks, Denise. Thanks for the great tips. We'll need them. We will need them. Hey, it's movie show time. Straight ahead, the movie guys with the big movie of the week.
Finally, Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic.
You guys have heard me talking about the Harvest of Hope. Harvest of Hope 2024, folks, with Macy's now through November 30th. So you've got the next month for this. There's going to be a great food drive sponsored by Macy's. You may not know this, but in Utah, there's 317,000 people, maybe 1 in 11 individuals that are struggling with food insecurity. And with Macy's Harvest of Hope, we hope to raise $200,000 for this food drive. There's a lot of different ways you can donate. You can purchase an icon in the store. And by donating any dollar amount you choose, you can just choose a Macy's team member and get them to help you at checkout. Guests can purchase a bag online or in the store, and it represents the peanut butter, the mac and cheese, all the things that these food pantries absolutely crave, chili, canned fruits, some boxed meals. By participating in Harvest of Hope, you are just making a difference. You really are. Make a donation at the register. Like I said, you can actually go and find this all online. All you have to do is make a donation. Go to Macy's.com/online. You can go in person, go to the store. That's a great way to do it. But yeah, feel free. If you want to contribute and help feed some families here in Utah, especially kids, make sure you go to Macy's.com/online.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort. See what we can do for you with a free fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one near you. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome, or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth, Steve Sales will be starting the movie show here in just a bit, but we wanted to check in with Melissa Lowry from Sound Sleep, where we'll be broadcasting live today at one of their 6 locations. We're at the one in Sandy, but 6 locations, all of them down the Wasatch Front and one down in St. George, Melissa, so that people can do what? Like, why does that help to be close to everybody?
Swing by, pick up a kit of equipment. It's easy. We try to make it, as easy and convenient as possible. So
free also really helps with that.
It's free, it's convenient, and it's really important. Why should I do a sleep test? Well, if you're 40 and over, or if you've been experiencing symptoms where you're not sleeping well, it's kind of like any other health screening. You do a colonoscopy or a mammogram just to make sure. Let's screen things out. Let's make sure you don't have a problem. And if you do, let's catch it. Because if you have sleep apnea and you've just been ignoring it, kind of just pretending it's not there, oh, who cares, it's snoring, I'm not bugging anybody, it's going to catch up to you. Untreated sleep apnea is linked to all sorts of health issues like anxiety, depression, high blood glucose levels, high blood pressure, and more serious stuff down the road with your heart and your brain like strokes, dementia. It's not good for you. So let's catch it now and fix it so that you don't have to deal with that down the road.
Speaking from personal experience, you can get so used to the wrong kind of sleep that you don't realize what you're missing out on. And when you get it corrected and you have those first couple of nights where you're actually breathing the way you're supposed to, it is, kind of a cliche, but it is night and day how different you feel the day after that night.
Yeah, just think about it. What if you didn't have to be tired every day? What if you actually woke up and had energy and you felt like you could engage with your family and your job? What a difference that would make with your life.
So here's how you get that free offer of a sleep screening and sleep consultation. 801-716-8672. Call and make that appointment for you or for a loved one, but don't put off finding out if you have sleep apnea, and if you do, getting it corrected. 801-716-8672. Give Sound Sleep a call.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, an apartment fire that was thought to be extinguished got going again overnight in Salt Lake City. Second, some of the misinformation about this year's election is coming from countries like Russia and Iran. And third, the good news is that Victor Wembanyama had a great game last night. The bad news is he was playing the Utah Jazz. 45 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
It's movie guys time because it's almost movie show time. Hi, guys. Oh, are you there?
Wow, that was weird. We're here. Did you hear us? We speak with one voice on the movie show sometimes. And other times we argue with ourselves.
So the big movie of the week is here.
Yes, it is here. Right here.
Here? Is that the name
so
of it?
It's not Terrifier
it is actually
3.
called. We missed the window on Terrifier, unfortunately.
Doggone it.
No, but seriously, I actually was describing to somebody. Oh, Michelle Dockery was in here, and And Heather Kelly, who's a big fan of Downton Abbey, was like, "She was? When?" And I'm like, in the movie, she went, "Oh," and she thought I meant that Michelle Dockery was at KSL.
That would be
and
very
that she
cool
missed
if
it.
she
So,
was. Yeah.
The movie is called Here.
Here.
Right here is where we want to be.
You know, if you like, you could spend the rest of the night here.
I could spend the rest of my life here.
This was our home. We lived here.
They do say the word "here" a lot in the movie.
They do,
also.
yeah.
Is it cute? I mean, is it?
Have you seen the trailer? See, that's the
No, I'm
first
not.
question to ask.
So I have
hearing it
seen
for
the
the first
trailer.
time.
This is the Tom Hanks. You said Michelle Dockery? I thought it was Robin Wright.
No, it is Robin Wright, but Michelle Dockery's in it also.
Oh, okay.
So there's several
This is a
different people.
reunification of Forrest Gump
30 years
and
later.
Jenny.
Oh, yes.
And the same director, Robert Zemeckis.
I think I might have caught this trailer at some point, but I didn't stick around and watch the whole thing. So, is it worth buying a ticket?
I'm going to say it'll depend on your age. I think if you're my age and older, yes. If you're younger than me, I'd say mid-40s and down. I just don't know how well you'll connect to it.
Is it a good date movie?
Sure.
Like,
I guess.
It might make a
seems
good
like a
episode of the podcast, Deb.
Oh, well, you know me. I'll be there then tonight watching this movie. If it's going to play well on Dating at Her Age podcast, I'm all there.
Well, I like the idea of it. The idea that is you're at one spot on the planet Earth, and it's from way back, 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs disappeared, to like today and yesterday and the day before. The thing is, it bounces back and forth a lot in these little picture frames that are exactly placed on the screen to match what's already been on the screen. Does that make sense? Probably
So
not.
the camera doesn't move. You have one angle the entire movie, and actors will walk in and out of the frame, and the weather will change in the background, and they just time jump, but it's the exact same view for the whole movie.
So the creativity is there. It's just sometimes Robert Zemeckis lately has gotten so into the special effects that he's forgotten to tell a good story.
And they digitally de-age Tom and Robin down to their much younger selves. And
Now, I thought that worked until they showed that one close-up of Robin when they actually aged her back. I thought, oh, now you're just showing off. But before it worked.
And it's they've come a long way, obviously. Tom Hanks is the poster boy for what they call the uncanny valley, because he was the face in Polar Express that just didn't look quite right, even though it looked like Tom Hanks.
Doll's eyes.
And so they've gotten a lot better at this, but it's kind of a gimmicky movie more than it is like a story-driven movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes the gimmicks really work. I'm trying to remember, what was the war movie, 1918? It was
1917.
Like 1917.
Where it was a single shot, meaning it never cut. It followed people through the whole entire story.
Well, technically, there were a couple of cuts that they were sneaky about when they go into the dark.
Right.
They were able to pull that off. So there were a few, but maybe 3 in the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that really worked for me. Even though I realized what was going on, eventually I kind of forgot about it and I got involved into the story. I thought it really worked. But sometimes these gimmicks, I think, can be so distracting that I forget what I'm watching, because it's just gimmick and reminding me it's gimmick the entire time. Is there any of that in this movie here?
Yes.
Okay.
The gimmick is kind of the selling point, because they're trying a new thing. Like you'd consider it visually boring to hold a single shot for the whole time. So there's got to be some way to make it less boring, and you can't jump. And the only time the camera moves is like the very final shot of the movie, and then it finally lets you look at the other direction.
Yeah, and so I think the idea is that it's the jumping back and forth that kind of threw me off. I think if you would have gone linear, it would have worked better. Just go through the timeline instead of like you see Native Americans, on a rock 1 minute, and then you're back with Tom Hanks, and then somebody else pops in that are from the future.
Yeah, and the only reason you know about where they are is you take visual cues from around the room.
And so you're paying attention. If you get lost in this movie, you're in toast.
Yeah, it's not a very easy story thread to follow.
So don't go refill the bucket of popcorn?
Oh, you're completely lost.
The
think you
swimming
missed something
pool
critical.
size of soda. I can't go refill that. Okay, all right. So
well, the good news is it's not a 2-hour movie. It was less than 2 hours, and
I
so
like that.
that'll make it go a little bit faster.
yeah, any movie I have to start looking at my watch. You know what I mean?
Oh, we've got one of those today.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do.
All right.
We do.
Well, we'll tune into the movie show in just a few minutes. The movie question of the week?
Well, in honor of a documentary about the greatest living composer,
living or dead, in my opinion,
John Williams, we want, and because John Williams is synonymous with movies, we wanted to ask what, in your opinion, is the greatest musical score from a movie of all time?
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, this one, it makes me want to cry every time I listen to it. Come on, hit play, Dave.
Oh.
Vangelis is
Chariots of Fire.
Fire.
Is that a John Williams?
No. Vangelis, I believe, is who wrote that.
Oh, I remember. That was
the
that
swinging
came out
arms guy.
That came out in the 80s.
It did.
Yeah, I remember that
So
one.
this one's your favorite, Dave, huh? Why is that?
It taps into all the emotion. Like, I hear it and I get chills every single
Dave
time.
sees himself running along a beach.
In slow motion.
With his arms swinging like a windmill.
Winning the marathon he didn't run.
Did not like the movie. The movie was fine, whatever. But I will never forget the score. Anytime the score is way better than the movie, you got
That's
to
a
pat
bad
him on the
sign.
back.
That's
It's a bad sign, but well done. Like, you'll never remember the storyline of Chariots of Fire, but
You remember
the
that.
music you love.
So I went to to Star Wars, the OG, when it came out in, what was that, 1977, guys?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was 10, and come on.
Now, was that something that got your attention even as a 10-year-old sitting in the theater?
Oh, yeah. I still get chills.
Every time. I mean, I've seen these movies hundreds of times.
I feel, this is going to sound maybe odd to you guys, I feel blessed that I was there at this movie theater at 10 years old watching the original when it first was released. And and we learned to play that when I was in band in grade school. Oh, we have less than a minute, guys. So do you want to share yours now or you want to keep it for the movie show?
Well, I'll just say this. It's hard to choose my favorite John Williams score.
Yeah.
Because he's the greatest to me. But then there's so many other great composers. Jerry Goldsmith, James Horner, Hans Zimmer. Like, there's just most of my music library, honestly, are the sound scores to movies.
How about this one? That's a pretty good one too, Dave.
More John Williams.
Dave's tearing up. Jurassic Park, right?
Oh, yeah. Indiana Jones.
Oh,
I mean, E.T.
yeah.
Harry Potter, E.T.
Oh,
I
wait. Indiana Jones, yeah.
I have done things on a ski hill listening to John Williams music that I would have never done if I wasn't listening to that music at the time.
The easiest drive going from California to Utah is playing John Williams' greatest hits, and the time flies.
Oh.
Time flies. How about Top Gun, guys? Top Gun, that
Harold
opener.
Faltermeyer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
thanks.
right.
Look forward to the movie show. Steve and Andy coming up.
FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Police say they've taken a man into custody after he held a woman hostage last night. Woman was able to escape after officers arrived at the apartment building where the man had barricaded himself. And an hours-long standoff ended when a SWAT team safely arrested 40-year-old Michael Daly. He now faces multiple charges, including aggravated kidnapping. Utah Jazz fans disappointed after last night's loss at the Delta Center. KSL News Radio's Alessandra Gurr has details.
The Utah Jazz continue their slow start to the season with their fifth loss in 5 games to the San Antonio Spurs last night in Salt Lake. The game looked promising for Utah in the first half, the team leading by 11 at one point in the second quarter, but the Spurs picked up their offense in the second half. Victor Wembanyama scoring 25 points and gaining 9 rebounds to lead the Spurs to a 106-88 win over the Jazz. And Keontae George's career-high 7 turnovers didn't help the Jazz either, with 26 turnovers overall in the game.
The Jazz hit the road this weekend to play the Denver Nuggets in Colorado on Saturday. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The United States says it expects thousands of North Korean troops will likely be going into combat against Ukrainian forces in the coming days, with many awaiting a possible response now from South Korea. ABC reports South Korean officials are considering sending military aid directly to Ukraine. South Korea has very large stockpiles of ammunition and advanced weapons. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now, 372 points, while the NASDAQ is up 190. And our KSL weather looks like we've got sunshine right now, but look for rain to move in for the weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, the delays are stacking up again in Saratoga Springs. This is on Pioneer Crossing heading westbound between Medical Drive and Mountain View Corridor. Due to road construction, only one left lane is open, but UDOT says they should reopen all lanes by about 5 o'clock this afternoon. The rest of the drive looks great. No accidents reported on other city streets or major freeways, so you're looking good on I-15, the east and west side belt routes, and the 201 freeway. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 57. Cloudy tomorrow with a chance of rain. Rain and high elevation snow likely on Sunday. Right now, 46 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Lights. Camera. Action. It's the KSL Movie Show.
They won't fear it until they understand it, and they won't understand it until they've used it.
The week's big movie review, movie news, games, and prizes. Here's Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales.
What are you doing here? Thinking about turning our house into a nuclear power plant?
On KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
It has all led to this moment.
It
The
has?
beginning of the movie show. Halloween was but a warm-up, a precursor, if you will, for what we have for you today, live from Sound Sleep in Sandy.
We have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
We got a lot of things today, and we've got a lot of stuff coming, including Virginia Pierce is going to stop by and chat with us, the commissioner.
Better get her musical group warmed up.
We've got some sad news out of Hollywood, the passing of an actress from some iconic movies. But let's get started with our big movie of the week, which is a reunion of the director, the lead actor, and the lead actress from 30 years ago's Oscar-winning Forrest Gump in the movie called Here.
Right here is where we want to be.
You know, if you like, you could spend the rest of the night here.
I could spend the rest of my life here.
This was our home. We lived here.
Where did they live, Steve?
On that one little plot of land.
Here?
At Pinewood Studios.
Actually, I believe it's New Jersey. They never said it in the movie, but if they were talking at one point, as they were in the movie, about Benjamin Franklin's son, he was the royal governor of New Jersey, and he and his father did not see eye to eye in that period.
Way to pull that out.
So, yeah, I'm guessing that the spot in here that we see is New Jersey, but it's never said in the movie. The big movie review sponsored by Paris RV. Steve, tell us about Here.
Well, I'd like to. I wish I could. So this is Robert Zemeckis, who is the king of gee-whiz special effects. Go back to movies like the Roger Rabbit movie, Back to the Future. I mean, he loves special effects. And I think maybe he loves them too much, because this movie, and it's based on a book, this is a story of a plot of land. I know that sounds crazy, but there's one camera set up, and it's been there for 65 million years, apparently, because
filming everything.
We see the primordial ooze. We see dinosaurs running from the asteroid. And then we see indigenous people in a meadow, you know, having a baby, and a deer walking through. Then we see...
You don't watch them have the baby in the meadow, for what it's worth.
Yeah, right. But it's all perspectives from this very same spot, this place called Here, and it just interweaves all these different time periods come through in these little picture frames, but they match what's happening in the background. So, like, if there's a window in the house that they finally built, and you see them, digging the hole for the basement, and the bricks going up in the house, and then finally through the window, sometimes you'll see something on the other side of the window that isn't part of what you're seeing in the living room. So it'll mess with your head, but it is a story about generations of families that have lived on this particular plot of land for hundreds of years, I guess.
Now, ostensibly, there is a sort of a story that weaves its way through it, and that's the main sort of story that you kind of follow along is a family that started right after World War II by Paul Bettany and Kelly Riley. I couldn't figure out who it was till the credits rolled.
Oh, yeah, Yellowstone's
Kelly Riley, yeah. They start the family. One of their kids is Tom Hanks, and he eventually marries Robin Wright, and all of those scenes take place inside the Built family home in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But you've also seen previous owners of the home, which include Michelle Dockery at one point.
Which one was she now?
She was the one in the 1900s with the husband who was a pilot when airplanes were just barely being invented.
Yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. The one.
And then you got this rip-roaring hip 20s couple that
invented the lazy boy.
That invents the reclining chair.
I actually kind of wanted to follow their story. They were really dynamic and fun. Whereas the Tom Hanks and Robin Wright story was a little bit of a downer.
And then they jump eventually to the people who bought the house later. And you get these time jumps, and it doesn't just go linearly through it. So you get something ahead. So you know at some point Tom and Robin are going to sell the house. And it jumps around a lot. And so we were saying that if you miss part of it, you might miss a key point of the story that then you're not sure why the characters are doing what they're doing later on.
It really makes you pay attention to every facet of what you're seeing. I mean, there might be something just up in the corner that's only there for 5 seconds, and then they move on. The thing that it's nonlinear, and which will really kind of mess with your head a little bit.
And so when we say it's a gimmick film, I don't mean gimmick as an insult. I don't think you do either.
No.
Because some people would take gimmick film as an insult. I say I like that he's taking a big swing. He realizes that movies are about moving the pictures. Like that's why they're called movies in the first place.
Yeah.
And so to say I'm going to fix the camera on this one spot and you're just going to have everything happen kind of around that, that's a big swing to see if you can do something that makes it interesting enough to keep your attention for that long. And I think for that, he mostly succeeds. But to me, this was the big drawback. I found myself not always paying attention to the foreground. I was watching the background more, and my mind would start to wander of like, ooh, it reminded me of that time where like they didn't have 50 things to watch, or I was looking on their shelf to see, are those videos? Are those books? Or I would be watching out the window, and I kind of got lost in
different cars would go by.
And I kind of got lost in my own nostalgia as I was watching it, which I liked that. Like I liked that movie brought it out in me. But I don't know if that is a good sign for a movie when I wasn't necessarily solely engaged on what the story was happening or things like that. But I also think that's part of what it's for. Like by doing, he made things move in my mind without necessarily moving it on the screen. Intentionally or unintentionally, that's how I experienced it.
Oh, yeah, I would never call this a gimmick movie. I think it was incredibly creative. It will probably win for best film editing. I don't know how it wouldn't. I mean, trying to marry all those different shots into every scene just would be extraordinary. I don't think it's going to win best picture. I mean, there's some acting in there, but it felt a little...
There's some acting in there.
Well,
box art for the movie here.
No. But it felt stagey, It felt kind of like they were doing a performance on a stage. And
that's actually a great point, because it was. You were watching a stage movie.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I didn't even think of it that way, but yes.
And so that kind of takes the emotion out of it a little bit, because you're not as engaged with the people in the film.
Interesting. Well, I gave it a C+. I think you were a little more generous than me.
Oh, I definitely was more generous, but I was at B-, and then I thought, you know what? Sometimes you need to applaud a guy for just trying something, and that's what he did here, and I applaud him for that. But I think there's going to be a lot of, Rotten Tomatoes has the fresh on this is like 38%.
Oh, okay.
So it's getting a lot of, in fact, I walked out and one of our colleagues said, worst movie ever. I thought, okay, well, that's not probably accurate. But
there's a lot of movies that exist that are going to have to be a lot.
So this is not a crowd pleaser. It's going to be a struggle. But if you're in for the challenge, it's there.
And I would say the reason I couldn't go higher than C+ is I really just don't think it's going to appeal to half of the movie-going audience, the younger half of the movie-going audience. Like, I don't know why my kids would make it through this movie. I don't even think they would. But for the people to whom would relate to either of those time periods, or they're just, as you get older, you can appreciate what it was like back in the 1920s, the 1900s, or these different things. That's who it's interesting for. So having a movie that's only potentially appealing to half of the potential movie-going audience like that.
Yeah. Well, if you've experienced life in a span like this, you'll appreciate it.
And then we were at an AARP screening, and that was very much appreciated.
Definitely
by
their
that
movie.
Group. Yes. So that is the movie Here. It is rated PG-13. I gave it a C+.
I gave it a B.
And Steve gave it a B. And you can read Steve's full review on KSLNewsRadio.com. It's already up if you want to get some of his additional thoughts on the movie Here. Movie Show broadcasting live today from Sound Sleep, and we're joined by Melissa Lowry. Melissa, sound sleep is what we're all after, right? We want to sleep soundly, and a lot of times our own body gets in the way of that.
True. If you've got sleep apnea, it doesn't matter if you're in bed for 10 hours, you can still wake up tired. You're not essentially getting the rest you need because you're oxygen deprived during the night. And that can affect so many things. You know, there are people out there that have high blood pressure, or maybe you're pre-diabetic, and you're just not responding to your medication like you think you should, or your doctor wants you to. It could be that you have sleep apnea, and that's contributing to those problems and may be the reason you're not responding to your medication like you should be. A lot of people also don't know that metabolism is linked to untreated sleep apnea. So if you're dieting, you're working out, you're doing all you can to lose that weight, and it's just not coming off, it could be that your sleep apnea has really messed up your metabolism. It can foul up things like stress hormones and blood sugar levels. So it's linked to a lot of stuff. It's about so much more than just getting a good night's sleep.
So here's a chance to get checked for sleep apnea for absolute free. And you don't even have to go anywhere overnight in order to take this overnight sleep test. You guys have made it easy and free.
Yeah, it's really easy. Call in right now. The number is 801-716-8672. You can also find us online at soundsleepmedical.com and schedule there. But you will get a free sleep screening, which is this kit you get to use at home in your own bed. Bring it back to us. We'll download it. We will give you those results right there and then. You don't have to wait for months like you do with many other sleep labs. That's also free. And then just by calling and getting that appointment and the free test, we're going to enter you into a drawing for our Better Sleep gift basket, which includes a Minky blanket, purple pillow, and $50 Amazon gift card.
So it's that simple. Just call 801-716-8672. Make that appointment. Hey, they have 6 locations. We're at the Sandy location near 90th South and 7th East. But you've got locations where else? Clearfield?
Yeah, Clearfield, Murray, Sandy, American Fork, Provo, St. George. We've even got a couple offices in Las Vegas if you're listening.
If you're that far south. All right.
Yeah.
So anywhere to get this chance to find a way to treat sleep apnea without having to use a CPAP machine. 801-716-8672.
Our Cougars have a week off.
He's going to go! Touchdown!
Prepping for the rivalry game.
Touchdown, BYU!
There's plenty to be excited about, including your calls before BYU Utah on Cougar Nation. Join us 6 to 7 Monday on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Well, we've been talking about jumping through time in our big movie review on the movie show this week, but hey, what if you had a way to have an actual time machine, huh? Well, letting go of weight that you don't want through my friends at Soda Weight Loss is the ultimate time machine. You can look and feel years younger while you reverse dangerous health conditions. I ran into some friends just last week. We went and visited some people in our neighborhood where we used to live. Some of my